Now, our next guest is one of Ireland's most successful jockeys, having won the Grand National and Gold Cup, among others. She recently announced her retirement from the sport after 16 years.
Please welcome jockey and now author Rachael Blackmore. Rachael, thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
It's lovely to see you. We were just saying before we came on air, I didn't recognise you with your hair down because it's so iconic. You have the hair straight back, you're on the horse, winning stuff left, right and centre.
Yeah, when you take your helmet off, you're not as recognisable, but that's good, I think.
OK, well, you've had a few days without the helmet, and so this announcement, it came as a surprise to so many of us. I was driving in the car and I heard it on the radio and I said, what's she doing? She's so young. Why is she giving up? Why is she stepping away? Was this a decision that you made a while ago?
So it was Cheltenham this year. Just as I was leaving the weight room in Cheltenham this year, it was kind of the first time I just kind of looked back and I kind of thought, like, will I be back here next year? So I suppose the thought crept in a little during Cheltenham, but I kind of forgot about it then. I said, I'll get to the June break. That's when jump jockeys have a break and I'll think about it then. But do you know what? Just on the way to Cork the other day, it just felt like the right time. And I don't know what it was about it, but it just felt like the right time. And I just kind of said to myself, if the mare I was riding in Cork wins, that'd be a nice way to finish. So yeah, it just kind of happened when it happened in a way.
Yeah, so it kind of organically for you, it just felt like the right time. But I suppose a lot of people, as Martin's rightly said, were shocked by it, of course, and not least the trainers you work with, the owners you work with. What was their reaction?
Yeah, to be honest, I've been blown away by everyone's reaction. Like, people are just so kind. Reading the different articles, seeing messages on social media. I've gotten letters and emails and people coming up to me. Like, it's actually overwhelming. It's all kind of sinking in what's after happening in my career and the impact that's had on, people outside my family and close friends. So yeah, it's very special.
It's funny that you said you're now looking back, because I've spoken to so many sports people who say, listen, while I'm still in the game, no matter what that sport might be, no matter what that game might be, they don't look at medals, they don't look at cups. They said that's the time you do that, when you sit back, as you're doing now after retirement. Do they now feel like pinch me moments?
Definitely. Anytime I see any of the clips back, you're kind of looking at it.
Towards the line,
Rachael
Blackmore raises the bar still higher. She won the national medal title.
Yeah, that's just amazing.
We're looking at your Grand National win there, Rachael. Sorry, you were saying.
Sorry, yeah, just anytime you see any of the clips back, like, it's phenomenal. You have to kind of remind yourself that was you and that all happened. And yeah, like, I do feel so privileged to have gotten the opportunity to ride the horses I did. And like, my association with Henry de Bromhead brought me up a level, brought me to the big festivals, riding the big winners. And, that's where every jockey wants to be.
No, but I'm just thinking, like, it was the Gold Cup a few weeks before that, then it was that, and I thought, that girl's got to go out and buy a Euro Millions ticket, because, it's all happening for her. Because it happens, like the Gold Cup win at Cheltenham and then the Grand National. Yeah,
so Cheltenham 2021 was an incredible Cheltenham. I had 6 winners. The Gold Cup was one that eluded me that year, but I got it the following year, which was phenomenal. So yeah, 2021 was very special to have that Cheltenham and then to go on and win the Grand National. It was just phenomenal. Like, to be leading rider at the Cheltenham Festival was just out of this world.
Well, Rachel, with the highs also come lows. I know you had a challenging time at Aintree this year. I mean, and there's been, I suppose a lot of people don't realise the risks that jockeys face, because it can be quite a dangerous sport. So with the highs, of course, there have been lows.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, 2 ambulances follow us around every day. It is a very dangerous sport, and but every jockey has a choice to do this, and it's our passion, and we love doing it. And it's just the unfortunate part of what we do is injuries. But yeah, we love what we do, and you're very lucky when you get to do a job that doesn't feel like a job.
Like, you're from the heart of horse racing territory, really, down where you are, down south. But is it something that you were inevitable, that you were always meant to do? Did you grow up around horses?
Yeah, I had a fantastic childhood. I grew up on a farm. I was always surrounded by animals, and my brother had a pony before me. So, like, I was so lucky. I never had to ask for a pony. There was just one there, and I loved riding when I was younger. Did it all through my childhood and into my teenage years. And, racing was always something I wanted to do, and I saw myself riding as an amateur and fulfilling that, but I never envisaged I'd have a career out of being a jockey. And like would have dreamt as a kid, the Grand National is the big race that captures your imagination, and I would have dreamt of riding in that race because that felt like an amazing dream. But my dreams didn't even allow me to think I could win that race. That was too far-fetched, so it's just phenomenal when you look back now.
It is an incredible career that you have had. But can I ask you, how do you feel about the moniker where you were described as the first female jockey to win? Is that something that sits well with you?
Absolutely. It's a privilege to be the first female to do anything. And, it's not something that I highlighted massively when I was riding, because inside of the equine industry, it's not as big a deal as the outside world, but I fully appreciate how it is massive, and I'm very privileged to be that person. And, I think because of all the incredible work that went on before me, Nina Carberry and Katie Walsh more recently, but long before them as well, some incredible women put in a lot of work. Like, it wasn't that long ago that women weren't really even allowed ride in a race like the Grand National. So there's a lot of work that's gone on, and I think they put me in the position where when I crossed the line in the Grand National, that just wasn't something, my gender wasn't something that hit me. I was just allowed to win the race for myself.
Yeah, but it's great. There's an awful lot of talk about women's sport these days. We've had Scorkgate with the camogie. There's criticisms about investment in female soccer, rugby, you name it, there's a problem. But when we see someone like yourself smashing it at the top level, it's a great sign to younger women who want to, and young girls as well, who love their horses, who are riding, and now see they can do anything that any man can do. And I suppose, do you get much contact from them? Even, I suppose, since you retired, did you have younger girls coming up to you and talking about that?
Yeah, definitely. I think visibility is a massive thing, and for girls just to see it, we don't have to speak about it. We just have to do it and let it be seen. And, even the girls at the Olympics and you see some of the younger girls now going around with the white ribbons in their hair and stuff. Like, that's the impact, so it's just visibility.
Yeah, so important.
Well, whatever about Grand National, we have to talk to you about Granny National, because you're now an author.
Yeah, I'm apparently now. Yeah.
How did that come about?
So it was after the Grand National. The idea was there to do a children's book, and it was definitely a process that I think I underestimated the work that was involved. So hence it took a lot longer than it was meant to take. But I had some incredible help. Rachael Pearce was fantastic in helping me get the words on the page, and Penguin were also brilliant. They were so understanding with the deadline, which kept getting pushed. It's a big undertaking doing it. It was something that I learned a lot more about the process of getting a book and creating a book, and parts of it I enjoyed and parts of it were tedious, but it's very cool now to see it on the shelf. And yeah, I did a book signing yesterday in TRI in the Curragh, and a girl came up to me and she was like, I've read it 3 times already and I love it. And, Tom, one of the characters, reminds me of my sister. And like, it was so special for me to hear that a kid has enjoyed it, so that meant a lot.
Yeah, well, it's top of the charts for the last 2 weeks in the children's books chart, so there's more than one kid enjoying it. That must be pretty proud already that it's gotten so high.
Yeah, I very much am. I wanted to make a book that could be enjoyed by kind of kids from all over. I know there's a pony on the front of it, but it's not essentially a pony book. I hope that a child will enjoy it who has no kind of country background maybe, or doesn't know anything about horses or ponies, and they'll pick up the book and enjoy it. Essentially it's an adventure book, and it's an adventure story, and I hope that'll be my proudest moment if it can be enjoyed by kids from everywhere.
Okay, well, it certainly is. And guess what? Yeah, and again, you're a role model because you grew up listening to audiobooks because you've dyslexia, isn't it?
Yeah, so audiobooks were a big thing for me. The Harry Potter audiobooks in particular were a big part of my childhood. So my sister was the bookworm in our house, and she was actually a great help in getting the book finished. And yeah, so audiobooks were massive for me, and it was very important that this book was on audiobook as well. So Amy McAllister is the narrator, and is that what you call it, narrator?
Yeah.
She has brought the book to life in words, in speak. So yeah, it's very important that's there for people as well, because it is also a wonderful way to enjoy a book, listening to it.
Yeah, you weren't tempted to narrate it yourself, no?
Absolutely not. I think the time it took to get the words on the page and the amount of time I'd read those words over and back and over and back, I think I had semi-hatred for them when it was finished. So I think I would have to narrate it as well. It might have come across great.
Okay, well, Rachel, it's great to talk to you. We are sorry that you've retired, but we wish you the very best with it, and I know that you'll still stay in the sport in some way, shape or form.
And thank you for the wonderful experiences and memories we all have of you performing. It's absolutely brilliant.
Thanks so much, guys. Thank you.
Granny National by Rachael Blackmore with Rachel Pearce is published by Sandy Cove and in association with Puffin Books, and is available from all good bookstores now.
Now, coming up after the break, we're turning down the colour but turning up the style. It's all about chic summer neutrals on the catwalk.
We'll see you back here very shortly.